Want to hear of a really bad game, ladies and gentlemen? Over here, I have a little tiny game here to show you called Vampire Reign. Now, you may or may not have heard of this game, and truth be told, you might have not, because the game is somewhat rare. In fact, you can't even get it at GameStop or EB Games, because they actually don't even take it over there, I think, due to the fact that the game is actually so bad. So, I found a magical website, Amazon.com, and over there I found that this copy was available. And this is Vampire Reign, ladies and gentlemen. Probably one of the rarer Xbox 360 games. You cannot get it digitally as far as I know, and the only way to get it is via physical copy. The game was later re-released on the PlayStation 3 system, but I would have gotten that only, if I hadn't have heard that the game actually got some kind of an update to it where they fixed up some of the bugs. No. We want to see all the bugs, because I gotta show you exactly what this game's all about. So I decided to get the original Xbox 360 title and see what the game had to offer. Now, initially I was going to play through parts of the game, but it actually started to hurt my head, so I couldn't really get through 2 missions of the game, but, at the time of recording this, I've actually played the game a lot more in my off time, and, played through it here and there and recorded some extra footage. But as far as the game goes, let's go over all the basic tenets of it to show you guys exactly what it is. Now, graphically, the game looks pretty decent. I mean, the game did release in 2007 alongside... Actually, you know what? Fuck that, okay? This game looked horrible for 2007. There were much better games released earlier, such as Splinter Cell Double Agent, which looked far better than this title ever could have. So this game does not win any graphical awards. It's pretty impossible to play. Not impossible to play, but it actually has, at least on my 360, a fair amount of frame rate issues. The game kind of lags here and there, and overall it kind of looks like a steaming pile of crap presented on my TV over here. But then again, graphics are not everything in a game, ladies and gentlemen, okay? And that's not the worst of Vampire Reign. Now, one interesting fact to note here is this game actually predates Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots, released exclusively on the PlayStation 3. And in fact, Vampire Reign for the PS3 did release the same year as Metal Gear Solid 4. But Vampire Reign is definitively the game that predates Metal Gear Solid 4. But the interesting part about this is, as you will see in the gameplay that I'm about to show you, the game actually really resembles that game, down to even some of the animations present in the game. As you can tell, the game is not winning any awards for control or anything, ladies and gentlemen. No. In its core, Vampire Reign serves as a stealth action title, and actually we'll keep the stealth action because you'll see later on why the action in this game doesn't really happen. But it's a stealth game, typically in nature to, other big stealth action games in the market too. Now, again, you're seeing a lot of gameplay elements. If you're looking at it right now, it looks very similar to, say, Metal Gear Solid 4. Even Metal Gear Solid 5, I guess you could say, because, even that game carries over some of the gameplay. There's some elements in this game that are, very Splinter Cell-ish. But, again, the game carries all of its attributes from other well-known games in the stealth action, genre. Now, throughout the game, the extent of what you're supposed to do, ladies and gentlemen, is to do little menial tasks, such as go from point A to point B, and typically when you get to point B, you have to activate an item, and then go through a little stupid cutscene, and sometimes you go through an extraction, and blah blah blah, you get through, and that's about the game on its own, right? That's all you really do. Now, the story for the game is, get this, apparently there's vampires, right? Okay? Alright, vampires. Not the sparkly ones, no. Not the cool ones either. But they're apparently nightwalkers, or if you see in the gameplay segments of this video, I call them daywalkers, because I remember that South Park episode a whole lot. But nightwalkers are apparently responsible for, making civilians disappear in the United States. And by the way, this city you're seeing on the screen, it's Los Angeles, alright? It's dark as fuck, and nobody's outside at night, and it's pretty freaking unrealistic. Now, throughout the game, you get, a little side story or something where, some haunted girl is, getting into your head, and that's about it. The game itself, basically, what it is you're working with this group called the American Information Bureau, and they find out that, it's a plan that America is actually going into a full-scale war against the Nightwalkers, which again are vampires, and what happened is the Nightwalkers caught wind, and what they're doing is they're sending hybrids to kill you and get rid of all this kind of evidence that they're aiming for, and basically then send the rest of all the Nightwalkers to the city and, you know, again, engage in this full-scale war. It's really, 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 really stupid, okay? But then again, the game's plot at times can almost be non-existent. Like, it's such a passing-by scenario, which probably goes to the fact on why it's not that popular, because, you know, the premise is interesting, right? I mean, you don't really get to see vampires a whole lot in your video game, so I guess maybe in this game to have vampires in a stealth action, futuristic, sci-fi setting should prove interesting, but the game completely dampers it and doesn't give you anything of the sort. Now, the Nightwalkers typically are very, very, very strong. They have great senses, but the reason why they're not as effective in this game, and by as effective I mean giving you a sliver of hope in the entire game, is because as it rains, again, vampire rain, right? Get that? The last part. Rain is a pretty big part of this game, and the rain inhibits the Nightwalkers from acting to their full potential. But that serves as completely fucking pointless, filler, because let me tell you right now, the game doesn't give you any option, okay? The game doesn't give you any form of survival, okay? The game hands you a handgun, it hands you an assault rifle, and at one point I even got a shotgun, I got a bunch of stuff, and let me tell you right now, it never fucking helps you, okay? The only thing in this game that is of any help is something called a UV knife, which allows you to actually, you know, stab enemies from behind to instant kill them, because the guns don't do fuck all. Alright, let me tell you how this works. If the enemy sees you, they go into this rage mode. And in this rage mode, their speed is instantaneous, okay? You see Nightwalker from the X-Men, motherfucker, that is exactly what they do. You can be on a skyscraper, and they will jump the fuck up and kill you. If the enemy sees you in this game, it doesn't matter how much ammunition you have. If they're not 4 miles away from you, and if you're not hitting your shots on point, you are dead, okay? There have been several points in the entire game where I have died thanks to these Daywalkers or Nightwalk. God, it's even passing on over here too now that I got it stuck in my head. But the enemies here don't do... The enemies are overpowered as all hell, okay? Until very later in the game when you get, like, decent weapons, that's when it matters. And that's when the game actually gives you a fighting chance. Other than that, you are relied wholly on stealth action. Alright, and stealth, okay? Not action, just stealth. But here's the problem. The stealth system is so weird in a sense of how it works. The game gives you a radar, but here's the fun part. The radar doesn't fucking work at all, because here's the fun fact, okay? If the enemies are not in the Nightwalker state, meaning they look like average, ordinary civilians, they don't show up on your radar, right? So what happens with that? Until they see you and turn into Nightwalkers, then they run after you, and sometimes the game doesn't even put them on the radar. So guess what? If you're using that radar, it's not going to help you, okay? You're not getting it, motherfucker. You're not getting any help out of that. The enemies here, okay, they have an advantage on you. Now, you get a little chance, all right, whenever you're walking in front of them, right, or you're in their in their FOV field of view, you'll get this little face that'll show up, right, like trying to warn you, dude, get out of their sight, otherwise they'll see you. That shows up, and that is like your only indicator that they're noticing you. Now, there is a way you can break the game. If you're a certain distance away, it doesn't matter how much they look at you, you'll still be far away from them. So that's your big advantage towards the game. But other than that, you're kind of fucked up, okay? You're screwed up. The enemy will get you. The stealth in this game favors this enemy beyond belief. Now, aside from that, is there any redeeming quality about the game? Yes, there is one good redeeming quality, and honestly, it's probably the music in the game. I've honestly never heard like a weird, eerie feel out of a soundtrack in a while, and I gotta give it to Vampire Rain. It's got that going for it, okay? It may not have sound effects like walking. I swear I've not heard one footstep, but the background music that the game offers is pretty on point, let me tell you that. That's about it. Okay, that is literally about it. This game literally gave me a headache trying to play it, okay? I tried sitting here recording it, and I'm telling you right now, I was going into a comatose state trying to play Vampire Rain. And now I can see why this game wasn't exactly well received or well cared about or well loved. The game's story ends with this cliffhanger, and it's kind of a slap to the face because there was no Vampire Rain 2, not that anyone was dying asking for it. But there was never any other game. We don't know what happens with the storyline after this game, and that's about it. Maybe Vampire Rain 2 could come out. I don't know, Vampire Drizzle, Vampire Tsunami, Vampire Monsoon. Okay, that'll be an MMO right there. or Vampire Rainforest. That's the MMO right there that we're looking for, ladies and gentlemen, a Vampire Rain MMO. The game also has multiplayer, but guess what? Nobody's playing this game online, except me. Okay, if somebody else signs on, okay, if this game ever gets repopulated, I will let you know with a multiplayer video on how it is. But from what I've heard, it's actually not that impressive. So, what else does the game have? Does it have any replayability, Mutahar? Why, yes. See, if you go around the game, you can get some medals and get some extra side operations. Every, mission gives you, a tutorial, I guess you could say. Not that you'd really need it, because some of the concepts in here are pretty, bare bones. You can easily figure out what the hell is supposed to happen. The game pretty much gives you a tutorial already in the game. It's not like you need to play the tutorial mission separately. It just has that. It has, 2 pieces of DLC on the store, which are, VR missions that I've not given a fuck about. As far as I know, the multiplayer has one unique point in it, where one can become Nightwalker and fight opponents with the overpoweredness of the single-player monsters, while the other players have to, fight back with regular guns, which, again, don't do jack shit. So, at the end of the day, is this game anything special to make a video on? Yeah, I think it is. Vampire Rain is definitely one of those unique games that came out way back in the day. Unique in the sense that I've never heard of a game where the stealth action was... it focused on you traversing through a night filled with Nightwalker vampires, normal people apparently, that upon sight of your character instantly trigger and try to kill you. The storyline, it may not be interesting, but, aside from that, it's not terrible enough to completely throw you off. If you're actually legitimately caring about it, you'll actually sit through and, I guess, somewhat enjoy it. And do I recommend you go out of your way to get it? If it's under $5, hell yeah, go pick up this game, if only for the laughs alone. At points, the voice acting in this game is just pitiful fucking bad. Oh my god, dude. If you would just listen to parts of this game's voice acting, it's like they did not give a flying fuck.
You didn't happen to run into a missing recon team on your way here, did you?
I didn't see a soul, Captain. Here's the requested electro-pulse device and a gun for additional protection. I hate rain.
We're lucky to have it. The stuff is supposed to dampen a Nightwalker's senses. Without the rain, they'd find us in a sec and make mincemeat out of us.
With all those Nightwalkers around, I'm surprised anyone in the city is alive.
Humans born in a city taken by Nightwalkers have left, but they always return. They return usually with a spouse they met elsewhere. Sometimes they've got kids.
Jeez. What makes them do it?
Some say it's a smell. A sweet and subtle odor that permeates a city occupied by Nightwalkers. I've heard that anybody raised with that odor can't resist being away from it.
If there is such an aroma, I've never noticed it.
Hey! On presenting this as a legitimate horror experience. If you thought Resident Evil was bad, or Silent Hill, the original PS1 games or whatever, those games should win an Emmy compared to Vampire Rain. Nobody here cares. Nobody here gives a fuck about what they're doing. And that's one thing I would pay the price of admission for. To just see how of a low bar they set. Because let me tell you right now, every time this game sets itself lower, it's always there again to just undercut your expectations and even go in the bottom of the barrel. It's a game you should try and definitely get. I picked it up for $4.99 on Amazon. I actually paid more to get this shipped. I think I got it for what? No, actually I didn't. No, I did not. But I got this game for about $6 off Amazon. I had a couple hours of enjoyment with it. Will I play through more of it? Yeah, actually I will. The game may have shitty gameplay. The game may have really, really awful voice acting. The game may have repetitive, bland maps. The game may not even look that great. But what the game has is this weird, weird charm to it. It's like watching The Room, except it's a video game version of it with a totally different story. Well, actually, you know what? In that movie, they actually had emotion, Tommy Wiseau actually portrayed himself quite well in that movie. Over here, man. But hey, for a game that wins Worst Xbox 360 Game of 2007, courtesy of Screw Attack, you might be expecting what you could expect out of Vampire Rain. Is it good? No. Should you check it out? No, but if it's well within reason, definitely hit it up. Get it either on 360, PS3, definitely try it out. It's one of those games you kind of have to play and soak in the shittiness. And the reason I'm making a video on it is because I have been trying to get this game for the longest time. Was my search, greeted with joys and candies and jubilation? No. All right, I feel kind of gypped. Okay, I had to take fucking 4 cold showers after this. But at the end of the day, I can say that I have played Vampire Rain. Is that something to be proud of? I'll let you decide, ladies and gentlemen. This has been another video, Some Ordinary Gamers video, Vampire Rain. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Just like it if you dislike it. Let me know in the comments below how you feel about this video and what you think about Vampire Rain. Truly, this should be Metal Gear Solid 6, The Phantom Rain. I'm sad. This is me, Mutahar, and I am out.